and welcome to the Casual Nerdcast. I'm your host, Justin. Joining us for this evening, Andrew,
Hello.
Emil,
Justin still starts his podcast with "and" instead of "hello." Hi.
and returning from Dagobah, Evan.
I'm back! Whee!
How was
It's
Master
gonna
Yoda
get a
doing?
lot better now.
Whoa, there we go. So how was Master Yoda?
It's pretty cool. Well, Yoda, like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, you didn't see Master Yoda. My apologies. Jedi mind tricks.
That's what they are.
All right, our topics for tonight: Unity running at 900p at 30 FPS. Kingdom Hearts 3 on Unreal Engine 4. Sony failing to deliver the free version of Driveclub due to server issues.
Free version.
Well, yeah, more like a perk version. And Intel caves into anti-feminist campaign. All right, so let's dive right in. Assassin's Creed Unity. This game is coming out in about a month, more or less a month.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So
Looks like a movie.
yeah. So this game will basically be running at 900p at 30 FPS on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. The reason for this is because Ubisoft did not take into account the amount of AI that is being computed. It's not a graphical issue; it's more like an AI issue because their engine is allegedly it specializes in making crowds, and each of those have its own AI. So by having more NPCs on the map, there's more calculations to be done for the AI, and ergo, they have to throttle some other things, such as the graphics and the FPS.
Boo.
That is depressing.
Oh, whatever. It's not important.
Yeah, well then,
Wait. I've been waiting for this. Hashtag PC Master Race.
they did not mention
Continue.
what PC will be running at max, so big
So,
smiles.
I mean, so let's be honest here. Is this gonna change
That's-
anybody's? I mean, this whole graphics war and stuff like that. It's so odd because people bought the system that they bought and they're gonna buy it on that system regardless.
Right.
The
Yep.
only people that this actually makes a difference for are the people who have both an Xbox One and a PS4, right?
But in this case, it wouldn't because they're both at 900p at 30 FPS.
I think he meant
Yes,
also
but-
an Xbox and a PC or something.
I
No?
know, but I mean, as much as Ubisoft said that this wasn't to, stop the hate of, like, oh, why is this running at 1080p here and not here? There was probably a decent amount of that in the background,
Yeah.
right? Like, because every single game that's released over the past while has just been all this bullshit about that, right? So, I mean,
So yeah, that's my question to you guys. Now that we're kind of nearing to it's been like almost a year now with the new current gen of consoles right now. We're still seeing this nonstop of like, ooh, look at this 900p at 30 FPS, or like, oh, this 1080p 30 FPS, or whatever that may be. Do you think do we think we'll ever see an end to this war? I think journalists kind of use it now just to kind of, I guess, use it to create news articles. I guess because some days news is really dry and just boring, or is this just something that's actually, I guess, a leftover from the whole huge advertising campaign that was the launch of Xbox One and PS4?
I have a bit of a sort of tangent, so to speak, because I've seen the same thing happening in another category altogether. Currently happening with Android manufacturers. The spec war is the exact same thing happening there, but the difference is here. People who, as Evan mentioned, own the PS4 and the Xbox One, if they like Assassin's Creed, they're going to buy it anyway. Whereas if you see the Note 3 with its 5 point whatever inch screen versus this, ooh, this one's bigger, I'm going to buy this one, sort of thing. This doesn't affect people I find, or I think, based on my knowledge and mine alone, that it doesn't affect people nearly as much as it would if it was something a lot more game breaking. It's a little bit past the launch of the console, so it's not. They promised 1080p and they're not delivering. This system's supposed to be more than capable. This is just Ubisoft underestimated, and that's hopefully okay. Or that's what I'd hope people are thinking now, rather than blaming Microsoft and Sony.
Yeah, and like personally, to me, like I talk about all the time. I don't really care about frame rates or like resolution. Frame rates, I think, frame rates though, to be honest, in certain games like FPSs or something like 60, you kind of want that, but like what they're saying isn't like, hey, like we have this game and it's only 900p and 30 frames per second. They're like, hey, we have to put those sort of things that not everyone will notice down a little bit to bring you way more AI and a more realized world. In an open world game, that's like way
so much more.
They're like, yeah, this is we're gonna not give you this small thing to give you this way better thing. It's like,
Hopefully, at least.
Yeah, well, in open, let's be honest, in an open world game, the thing typically that kind of throws you out of it is when AI are kind of like weird, or they like don't react in a way that humans kind of would.
Right.
Having more of that is always better, in my opinion.
Right.
It breaks immersion, basically, is what you're just saying, right?
Exactly.
And also, let's be honest, even for PC gamers, when you're building a rig, your main question is, will my minimum frames drop below 30? That is the key, right? So as long as the game sits at 30 FPS, that's really all you need to care about, right? Because if it drops, once it drops below 30, that's when it visually gets actually stuttery, right? But between 30 and 60, like, yes, there's a difference. I know, I'm aware of it, but it still looks smooth.
See,
it's still smooth to the average user.
Right. See, the thing is though, I don't know if these consoles are locking to 30 FPS. Because because it only says the frame rate. Because anytime they've announced like frame rates, like, well, first off, just to kind of start things off, it's like when this new consoles kind of came, they said that officially they would rather prioritize 60 FPS over 1080p. It's just interesting that Unity came out to be both 900p and 30 FPS. Like they weren't be able to fulfill like the alleged next gen goals.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think that's something that's interesting, and I think that's the kind of reason they came out. What's even interesting is 30 FPS like the average? Because if it's the average, then you're gonna see like heavier moments where you're gonna dip below 30 FPS.
Based on console gaming experience, it's probably average, but the average is way more meaningful on a console than it is on PC.
Right.
Your average on PC, I mean, as much as you might average at say like 40 frames a second, you could drop to 20 and up to 60. It doesn't matter. On console, I find that when they say an average FPS, it's way more consistent in terms of like when I play Assassin's Creed on PS3, I'm pretty sure they limited that to 30 frames per second. Fairly certain.
Well, and PS3 for sure, yeah.
And I only really ever saw it drop when crazy stuff was happening, and it very rarely happened. But that even happens on PC games, right? Like that happens all the time with PC games. You'll see a lot of games that range from, again, like I said, 20 to 60, right? It's just how the technology works.
Right. It's just a lot more variable on the PC because, well, specs also range widely, whereas it's just one tightly controlled system. Makes sense.
Yeah, and also on a PC, like people on a PC are typically like pushing it to the limit. Like when I'm playing a PC game, I'm not like, what's the upper threshold? And I'll go 2 steps below. I'm like, what's the upper threshold? Can I play the game like half a step higher than that? It's kind of my own fault. Like, anyway, yeah. And like you said, consoles, like you got one sort of thing.
Now the better question is, do you think that the Xbox One's hardware was any influence on the PS4's hardware in the sense that like now both games are now running at 900p at 30 FPS?
I said that
Sorry, go ahead.
But do you guys?
I said that initially, right? Like I kind of said, I think that there's probably, as much as Ubisoft wanted a minute, there was probably some internal chat of, all right, so we can make one of the consoles run better, but the other one's going to limit it, and why don't we just make them the same so that we can get a more consistent gameplay experience?
I'm assuming that's what you
then,
meant.
then we also don't have to deal with the bullshit that all these other companies are going through right now. I mean, this is exactly like the Super Nintendo Genesis war that happened. Like, whenever the fuck goes, oh, the Genesis has blood. You see, like, they can render blood. It's like, who gives a shit? Is it the same game? Yes? Shut the fuck up.
Basically. So yeah, like I think that here's the better question now. I think we've been discussing this problem as a whole. Now, do you guys think? How long do you think this is gonna last? Do you think we'll start seeing even more journals about like, oh, The Witcher 3 is gonna be running at like whatever resolution or whatever FPS on like consoles, Division, whatever maybe that's coming out in the next coming months? Do you think we'll start seeing more of these, or do you think there'll be like a gradual fade and we won't hear much of this in 2015?
I think it'll definitely fade because I just think that people don't necessarily, the average consumer who's reading those articles, I don't think really gets the technology behind it, and a console gamer jumping over to PC has a lot of the same thoughts, right? So I think it'll just, people will get used to it. People will get used to the hardware differences. I just think people will get over it because right now people are just really trying to defend the console that they spent $400 on.
Yeah.
Especially right now, there's not many games out. Well, there's a few, but the games that are out, I own, I think, like 3 games for my PS4, but I don't really care because I buy a lot of games all the time. I blow money on really stupid games. But a person who bought their PS4 and wanted to get $400 out of it hasn't necessarily got that yet. Potentially, right? So I think a lot of people are just kind of defending this kind of stuff. Right?
So you think journalists are just kind of giving ammo to those who've kind of bought a certain console in order for them to kind of defend themselves?
No, journalists have never done that before in the past. That never happens, ever.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, people are clicking these articles, and they have been for like you said, since friggin' Genesis, before the internet. They're clicking on these articles before the internet was even a thing. Like, people have always been fighting about, yo, my console's better is because of, which makes absolutely no sense to me. But like,
I don't remember this being a huge issue with the PS3 and 360 though. Was this?
I don't.
It was a big deal. Like, especially because PS3 got a lot of bad ports from Xbox 360 games.
Yeah.
I think
those were just flat out bad ports that would like Bayonetta would just crash, or it would actually run. It would run at like 10 frames. Like that was actually because they were arguably unplayable at the downsides that the PS3 had in some cases.
Yeah,
but even then, people were fighting like, oh, the PS3 has like this cell processor, it has way more potential, it's got way more resolution.
Yeah, but like I like, because I kind of entered like the gaming industry, like following the news and stuff, roughly around the 360 PS3 era, but I don't remember this kind of flare back and forth, especially with like so much detail with like the resolution and the FPS and all that kind of stuff. Yes, there was always gonna be flame wars. Yes, everyone does it. That's not console specific. It was just that like they weren't really breaking down saying like, oh, look at the pixel by pixel of this game versus this game on like the 2 different consoles. It was more so like PS3 is expensive. Is it worth it? That kind of thing. And then eventually it kind of dropped down, and then the games like it was actually a fair war, because now it was a difference between like first party games. Like they would be saying like, oh yeah, Uncharted, Halo, etc., etc. They were fighting back and forth to see who had the better first party games. Now at this point it just seems a bit unnecessary. I'm watching some ridiculous IGN videos where some game was released for all 4 consoles, 360, Xbox One, PS3, PS4, and the video is literally like this small for each thing. It's like tiny slits of like 3S, 360, Xbox One, PS3, PS4, and I literally cannot tell the difference. Like it's getting a bit ridiculous.
But
like,
I remember there being like graphics comparison videos of like Fallout 3, of like Arkham Asylum.
Oh, okay.
So like I think it's been around. Maybe I don't know. We just don't remember this. I think numbers wasn't as big of a deal.
Yeah.
Like 900p. I remember people only talking about 720 and 1080. Like 900 is almost kind of new to me. Maybe that could be true though.
I feel like a lot of this is just also due to kind of the resurgence of PC gaming, because when Xbox 360 and PS3 came out, I mean, PC gaming wasn't that big. It really wasn't. But now it's extremely mainstream. I mean, PC gaming has gone from building your own PC has gone from a fairly niche thing that not many people knew how to do, and it's kind of transformed into high stakes Lego.
That is exactly how I feel about it.
But I'm not saying that it's incredibly easy, but I'm just saying it's a lot more. It's
Like the
word?
resources are available for you if you want to.
Yeah,
It's not-
if you want to, it's very easy to do it yourself, right? Like if you want to and you're interested, well, before not so much. It was still very difficult. You had to have a friend who knew how to do it, but now the resources are out there, right? So and I feel like because of that, people are more technically knowledgeable,
Yeah,
which leaves
that's
these
true.
things open for discussion quite a bit more. Right, and also just especially with like TVs and stuff going crazy about having like 240 hertz and like 4Ks being a huge thing. So these numbers are out in the media more to begin with. So you see
Yeah.
TVs being able to have like run 4K content and stuff, but then my video game systems are sitting at 900p, right? Like there's definitely obvious, very reasonable technical limitations because of that for that, but I mean, it leaves consumers guessing, right?
Yeah, it's basically ever since that's a good point too, because now we're in the middle of like a big resolution shift. I mean, we never really took a break between 1080p and 4K. 1440p just kind of started emerging, and then all of a sudden we just threw ourselves to like 4K, like because 1080p was very prominent for quite some time.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
you know,
It still
1440p
is.
was 1440p is pretty much just a computer thing. It never hit any other market. It was just
Well-
like we're gonna make some monitors here because like computers do scaling really well, and
okay.
Well, it's coming in the
under-
smartphone market now. The G3 has it, and a couple of other upcoming ones will. But at that point, it's just gimmick. Because look, a 6-inch screen with 1440p.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
I
there,
don't think I don't think that's gonna stick around too much.
No,
I think
for
that's
sure.
yeah. Just because it also just like destroys battery for no reason, and this anyways we're getting
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
resolution's a weird thing, weird thing. I've even heard talks about like 8K TVs and stuff coming out.
What the fuck?
I've already heard 5 and 6K TVs. That's for sure. I didn't hear about
Yeah.
8K.
The-
8K's
I think Vizio announced a 5K TV for like $4,000 or something.
yeah.
I mean, this technology, it's definitely really cool, but there's no. We're getting way off topic, but there's no content out there, right? And there's no infrastructure to actually support it.
Yeah.
But it's really fucking cool to see 4K content. Oh man, at my work we had uncompressed 4K content running on a 4K screen. It was gorgeous,
Oh yeah.
gorgeous. But
It'd be funny. It's just a game of Pong.
yeah.
Super high definition Pong. You can't even see
It's
the
just-
pixels, man. You
The
can't
squares
even
are
see
never
the pixels.
Yeah, the squares are
But
never
I mean-
clear.
But I mean, realistically, to drive to drive a 4K screen, you really do need like SLI 980s
A lot of power, yeah.
to even
Actually, I think
slightly put a dent in it.
I think the 980 can do it by itself. Can it not?
It can do it, but it can't like max out games.
Fair enough. Yeah. But
Right, like you're gonna have a hard time maxing out games at 60 FPS. To run 4K games at what the average PC gamer finds acceptable
Wants
now.
to. Yeah.
Yeah, it requires two 980s, two 780s. Like you're spending close to $2,000 on
graphics
Power.
alone.
right.
Yep, pretty much.
Yep.
So our
Anyways,
conclusion is Assassin's Creed still sucks. Wait, that's just
Oh,
Hey.
Don't tell
Still
Justin
could
that.
use a lot of work.
This
no. People really enjoy this game. It's just yeah.
this is like a Unity. Okay, Rogue is still the same as Assassin's Creed. It's the yearly iteration.
It
Unity
doesn't make any-
Unity
Don't-
is a joint
okay,
effort
okay.
over a 3-year period.
Don't even trick yourself, because they said that with Assassin's Creed 3, and that game was a steaming pile of like donkey shit. So I
Yep.
mean, don't
let
even
me
trick yourself.
let me
This is-
detach.
this
We'll
is
have this
supposed to
argument.
be
We'll,
Assassin's Creed the way we know it.
we'll have this argument 2 weeks after the game's release. we cannot
Yeah.
say anything now. This is all
No.
speculation.
No. You're going to apologize in 2 weeks.
I'm gonna be honest though. Assassin's Creed Unity, the way the cape flows, I was like, that's impressive. That is impressive.
Yeah.
And that
I mean,
physics
there's
though,
definitely cool
AI
stuff in that
computed
series.
anything.
All right, let's.
There's definitely gonna. I mean, yeah. Anyways, let's move on.
Yeah,
Evan has spoken.
Evan has spoken, and
Evan
move on
has
we
spoken.
shall.
Whatever.
So, did you guys think Kingdom Hearts 3 was in development? Because now they decided to switch engines.
What?
So Kingdom Hearts 3 is now going to be running on the Unreal 4 engine. Huh. That's confusing. I don't. How do you guys feel about this?
I think it's
I don't-
time. Go ahead.
I was saying I
know.
don't.
What was
I
it
was-
running on before? Like,
Nothing.
Not
Oh,
Unreal.
sorry.
Let's look this up actually.
No, like I think it's interesting that they chose to go with Unreal Engine 4 when just a couple years ago they announced their own engine. It was like the Lumen, blah blah blah, something
Yeah.
fancy, half Latin name. Like they have their own in-house stuff, so I find it
Yeah.
interesting that they
And I
opted
mean,
for
and I
someone
mean, their
else's.
in-house stuff is very like an anime kind of style, right?
And it's, yeah,
Yeah.
it's-
Well, I
Which
mean,
is exactly
the
what
Unreal
Kingdom
Engine
Hearts
is. Yeah, the Unreal Engine is not adverse to using like anime stuff. It's just the problem about the Unreal Engine, and this is why a lot of games in the past had, like, especially like 2007 to 2010, had kind of like the shit brown and piss yellow syndrome of that's all their colors, because the Unreal Engine it doesn't have the colors implemented from the get-go, so the developer has to do all those things, and it's a lot of fucking work. So it's Unreal. There's nothing wrong with using the Unreal Engine.
Oh,
it's
no,
actually
not
a
at all.
phenomenal engine.
It's great.
Oh,
just-
not at all. It's just
going to require a little bit more. It's going to require a little bit more work on their part to actually get it functioning.
To do what they
from-
want with it, at least to make a AAA title for sure.
see.
But this also, the thing that I find interesting about this is that Japanese developers are generally pretty. They're not like they all pretty much use their own engines from what I
Mhm.
understand.
Do they? Oh, okay.
So I mean, it's interesting to see a game as prominent as Kingdom Hearts switching over to an American engine that is used
Right.
in pretty much
Whoops.
every one of our games,
Exactly.
right?
That's the thing. Like there are a lot of interesting things that you can speculate about this. The one thing that kind of struck me when I read this is just like, so Sora is now like when the way I read this, the way I imagined Sora is I replaced Marcus Phoenix's head with Sora's head. This big muscle. Because anytime you think of the Unreal Engine, all I think about is guys from Gears of War. Like even the women are just so like jacked and bulky and big. Like it's just I'm like, huh?
Oh, there's so many games that are running on Unreal that you would never even guess. Let me.
Well, except the big splash screen at the beginning of every game.
Yes, but I mean, like, how
There's a
many
whole
times?
bunch.
How many times are you not like mashing start or?
It's true.
For sure.
That's it'd be interesting to kind of
It's
get
just
that.
funny.
Because I mean, like Doom is there, and like obviously Unreal Tournament. Let's see if there's a list somewhere I can find.
Unreal 3 games.
I have one here. Tom Clancy, Unreal.
Oh,
Um,
did not pay any attention to that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
Papo and Yo, Cube, Alien, Army of Two, the Batman series.
Thief. The new Thief.
Yep.
And
Borderlands. Borderlands looks
All the
like
Borderlands.
that's
Borderlands is run on the Unreal Engine.
Yeah, man.
yeah. Anyways,
Come on.
so I mean, like, it just there's no
Blacklist.
problem with using Unreal. It's a phenomenal engine. It's
Absolutely.
just
Oh yeah, no. It's just the thing like I thought about was like, are they changing their art style in any way, shape, or form? I hope not.
Dungeon Defenders.
Dungeon.
Mass
Wow.
Effect runs on Unreal, Mirror's
Yeah.
Edge.
Yep.
Okay, I can say that Dungeon Defenders is probably somewhere along. There's probably the closest, but still, Dungeon
But-
Defenders doesn't quite.
I think the biggest news about Kingdom Hearts 3 being developed on the Unreal Engine is that Kingdom Hearts 3 is starting development.
Yes.
God knows that people have been waiting for that game for so long.
yeah. Oh yeah.
See,
You
when they
beat
first
Kingdom
when they
Hearts 2, they're like, you beat Kingdom Hearts 2, got all the secrets. Here's a teaser for the next game. 70 years ago. Oh my goodness.
And then everybody said, so when do we get Kingdom Hearts 3? How about 365 over 2? Okay. How about Birth by? How about this
Birth by
random
Sleep.
card-based game? Like,
Chain
none
of
these
Memories.
games have
Okay,
been bad, but
Chain of
Chain of
Memories
Memories
was
is
pretty.
so good.
It was
none of them
good.
have been bad, but they're not the game that we want.
Yeah.
Oh, to those who don't know, Kingdom Hearts 2 came out in December 22nd, 2005.
Yeah.
And
It
it's
is-
also coming out again before Kingdom Hearts 3.
For those of you who have not played it yet and they want to make more money off of Kingdom Hearts 3.
There are
Uh,
literally people who could have not been alive yet and have now reached the age where they're like, I want to play this Kingdom Hearts 2 game.
Yeah.
Some 9-year-old kid. Because Kingdom Hearts 3 probably won't be, like, I would be surprised if it came out, like, holiday 2015.
that is
I think
Oh man,
Too early.
I even think that.
It's like
I even think
16,
that's optimistic.
17. Yeah.
That's way
Yeah.
too early.
I'm saying 2017, 2018.
Yeah,
That might
especially
even
when
be. I mean, let's remind ourselves how long like a Final Fantasy takes to come out,
Yeah.
right? Like, and this is one of the issues that I have about just Japanese development in general. I think Andrew, you and me were talking about this, how Japanese developers treat video games as art, which is not a bad thing, while North American developers generally treat game development as a science, and there's definite pros and cons to that. One of them being that Japanese games generally take way longer to come out because art.
Because
Yeah, and also just the culture is very different. Where like there's
Yeah.
a lot of seniority, there's like a lot of red tape. You kind of have to like pay respects to like the OGs of the game development. And to be honest, some of them I think sort of need to step down and let like the newer, fresher blood sort of
Mm-hmm.
take the reins. But it's really hard for people to do that in that kind of a culture too. Like I see it a lot in Korean culture as well. But so like I know firsthand.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
It can be,
Well,
it can
even
be-
oh, what was I gonna say? I completely lost my mind. What was I gonna say?
Oh, good.
I have no clue.
I am not Evan, nor can I read Evan's mind.
Kingdom Hearts art. Fuck, I don't know. I forget.
Think
I remember I'll
about
say
it, yeah. But yeah, it's great that this game is finally because I wasn't playing PlayStation back then, so I wasn't in that thing. But it's great that these people are like starting to finally see some hope. Like, 'cause God knows they waited long enough.
Yeah, I was one of those people. I just, even though I've never really played like Sony related products, like I kind of browsed through Kingdom Hearts. I was very attached to the story. I was able to find a lot of gameplay and to follow along the story, and I really wanted to know what happens because Kingdom Hearts 2 was a pretty big cliffhanger. If I
Yeah.
remember correctly. I'm not gonna say anything in case people actually start like this is the one exception I will make to the rule. Some people say like 3-4 years after a game's release, you can talk about anything you want about this game. Kingdom Hearts is an exception because the release dates are so wide that
Some of these kids weren't even born when Kingdoms.
and these HD remixes keep coming out for the people who've not played it yet.
Yeah.
That gives them a
What
chance
is
to actually
this?
play it and play the game and learn about it. So it's just like this is the one game where I say, you know what, I'm not going to talk about the ending. Suffice to say, it was a cliffhanger, and it is one of the longest cliffhangers, probably because of the development.
This is gonna turn into some Half-Life 3 cult shit,
It
man.
basically was Half-Life 3 culture for the most part.
This is.
The worst part is
this is-
at least Half-Life kind of is silent for the most part. Kingdom Hearts, they're just like teasing it, and it's just like sometimes they'll leak very cryptic messages at the back of the end of the game saying something, and you're just like, Half-Life, is this Kingdom Hearts 3? Is it Kingdom Hearts 3? And then it'll be like a DS game or like a PSP game or
So from the end of Kingdom Hearts 2 to now, they have fleshed out the entire history of Kingdom Hearts in various games before actually finishing the damn trilogy.
Yeah.
That's how many games have come out. This is technically actually Kingdom Hearts 7 or 8, I think.
Yeah.
right? And like this is arguably worse than Half-Life. It's
'Cause
the Half-Life
yeah.
of consoles.
Half-Life 2 Episode 2 came out in like
2006,
2007?
2007. Yeah, it was Orange Box.
Yeah.
Orange Box.
So when you think about it, Kingdom Hearts people have actually been waiting
Oh,
longer.
Animal's kind of frozen there, but anyways.
I'm here.
Oh, anyways.
They've been waiting longer for an actual story progression.
Yeah.
Because everything has just been like, oh yeah, so we want Kingdom Hearts 3. Yeah, but we're gonna tell you about the history of Mickey and his fight with these 3 random people. It's like, I don't, who the fuck, no.
Go play Epic Mickey from that.
Okay, let me.
Yeah, they're introducing like completely new characters, like an entire new organization of people that no one gives a shit about. The entire story of Kingdom Hearts is so convoluted at this point. It's ridiculous.
Let me just run
great.
through the list of games just to confirm Evan's theory about Kingdom Hearts 8. We have Kingdom Hearts 1, and then we have Chain of Memories, and then we have Kingdom Hearts 2, and then we have Chain of Memories. Okay, that doesn't really count. That was like a PS2 version
Yeah, it's
of
the same
Chain
game,
of
it's the
Memories.
same
Yeah.
Same game.
So we're still at 3 technically. What the hell is Kingdom Hearts coded?
That's a
That was
phone game.
but it actually progresses the story, so it counts.
All right, so that's Kingdom Hearts 4. 358 divided by 2 days.
Yep.
Uh,
3DS. DS.
Birth by Sleep.
No.
Recoded. So that's I'm assuming that's
That's when it got released into the West.
yeah. So we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm
Six.
skipping Recoded. Dream Drop Distance is 7. Wow, Evan was right. Because the next one's
Kingdom Hearts 8.
yeah, because the next ones are 1.5 remix and 2.5 remix.
Wow.
Congratulations, Evan. You were correct. It is indeed Kingdom Hearts 8.
If you Google Kingdom Hearts 8, what comes up?
Nothing.
Aww.
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing. I was really hoping that I have like some stupid shit in there about it.
Nope. If anything,
Oh, that's great.
Kingdom Hearts 8, yeah, it's in our lifetime, we will never see it. Like, look at the rate of
No,
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Just wait,
And you're
Kingdom
waiting
Hearts
for
3
Kingdom
to
Hearts
end.
8.
It's gonna end on a cliffhanger as well, and then we're all just fucked.
It's gonna be a logarithmic chart. Kingdom Hearts 8 will actually be like Kingdom Hearts 42
Yeah.
at that rate. So,
So-
we won't be around. I can assure you that.
So, thank you for letting us know that you're now using an engine. At least we know
Yeah.
you're working on something.
Yeah. Thank you that
makes
you've
us know
made the first decision.
that makes us know they've decided to work on something.
Yeah.
Basically.
That game. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's in trouble.
Yeah, I am so worried about. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, it's such a staple. It's so iconic to the Sony brand that they will do whatever it takes to get that game released.
Well, I doubt that it'll be an exclusive. It'll probably be on.
No, it's not. It's an Xbox One game too as well, I believe. Which is stupid
Yeah.
because it's like 7 games, 9 games have come out for this franchise. Here's the game that everyone's been waiting for the Xbox One. Unless
Well,
that includes
there's actually been equal Kingdom Hearts for Nintendo consoles and
yeah, but never for Xbox
Sony
though.
consoles. Yeah, but I mean, like Final Fantasy was a huge Sony product for the longest time. Before that, it was a Nintendo product, and now it's an everything product.
Yeah, I think that just shows how Square Enix is just trying to diversify itself now.
No, that's
Everybody
just-
is, right?
Yeah.
Like
This is
at
people
this
trying
point,
to cut costs.
because I mean, you can release for PS4 and have these numbers are old now, 10 million potential buyers, or you can release for both and have 18 million potential buyers. It's just math. It's just why the hell wouldn't we?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right?
I guess that
Yeah.
just mean that Sony's not paying enough for first party?
No, because how do you pay enough? They're not a first party though. They're a third party
true.
developer, Square, right? Like once Final Fantasy and Metal Gear are like we're not exclusive anymore, it's like all right, everything's up in the air. At this point, unless you are
Everything's
a
off the
first
table.
party, unless you are a first party, you're gonna be on everything, or at least you're gonna try.
Because there's no reason to not be, right? Like it's just the numbers don't add up. There's no way that Sony and Microsoft can offer people millions of dollars to just be first party.
Yeah,
It wouldn't
and
make
now it's clearly
sense.
showing. It's yeah. Well, I mean that's good for us. More diversity, and maybe they'll be like,
Definitely.
"Hey, our engines can be easily used on the PC."
Well, that's also a big thing that's happening. I mean, Sony, Square Enix recently just announced that they're bringing pretty much all the Final Fantasies to Steam.
Wow.
Like, I think I was reading that, yeah, Final Fantasy 13 is coming to PC.
Yeah,
Nice.
7's already on there, isn't it?
Yep, 7 and 8, but they were released a long time
Yeah,
ago. That was
yeah,
kind of like their
wow.
first push.
Yeah.
But yeah, Final Fantasy 13 is coming to PC, I think.
Nice.
All right. So
Yeah,
now,
Final Fantasy 13.
okay, sounds good. I have now things to add to my wish list. I will add these after the podcast.
You really don't need to play Final Fantasy 13.
Really?
It's decent.
What about the Final Fantasy X games? I heard, because those were really controversial during my early gaming ages, and I heard a lot
Play
about it.
12. 12's so good. 12's so good.
12? Okay, I'll keep that on my radar. Hopefully it'll come to
It's
PC.
6.
Yeah, 12, 6, 4.
4
10
is
is alright. 7 and 10 are the two games that I don't get why they're so popular. I've played them. They're not that good.
good. They're good JRPGs.
Yeah, but there's so many things about them that just make me love the other ones way better.
Yeah. Anyways,
We're
All right,
I'm off topic again.
Well, I mean, it's casual, whatever. It's just conversation. We're not a news anchor. We're just here to talk about news that may or may not interest the people who are listening. I hope you are interested, though. I mean, if you've gone this far. I hope it's not background noise to help you study or like concentrate at work.
or sleep.
Or sleep. Oh God.
We're not that boring.
Post in the comments if you use this to sleep.
All right, so let's move on to more Sony news. Okay,
Woo.
well, more exclusive with Sony. The free version of Driveclub for PlayStation Plus subscribers has been delayed. U.S. PlayStation Plus members were due yesterday. It never materialized. Europe was due today. And apparently the reason they couldn't deploy it was because of server failure. And thus adds another game in the list of failed launches.
This isn't necessarily a failed launch because it's just PlayStation Plus players got early access to the game and then they could very inexpensively upgrade to the full cost of the game. To the full version of the game, sorry. Right?
So-
I mean, this sucks, yes, but I mean, it happens. I don't think this is.
Oh, but
Crazy.
then okay. So is this necessarily? Because I don't know. I didn't follow Driveclub too much. I just know that this game has been delayed and delayed and delayed. That's all I know. So
Yeah.
is this the full game that they're releasing, or
Yeah, the full game released this week. Like you can buy it on disc.
okay?
It's like free PS Plus version. But let's be honest, who was waiting for Drive Club? Like
Ryan. Ryan
Besides-
is
besides-
freaking the fuck out over that
besides
game.
our one racing fan, like even amongst racing fans, like the buzz about this game
Besides the
is-
one racing fan that bought.
yeah, like the buzz for this game is like really, 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 really low. Like,
Yep.
I
Yeah.
thought it was like a simulator until last week, and then I was told that it's an arcade racer, and I was like, I did not even know that.
Like it doesn't show anything enticing
I
that
don't know.
would.
The only racing game that I even slightly care about. Sorry?
I was gonna say like go ahead.
The only racing game that I think anybody really cares about that's coming out is whatever Criterion's doing next. That
No,
like
Mario
weird.
Kart.
That's already out.
I know.
But whatever Criterion's doing, I am rock solid for.
You are rock solid for?
He is rock
Yeah.
solid in several places.
Cool.
Burnout Paradise is still the best racing game ever.
Burnout Paradise was awesome.
And the new Criterion game looks like Burnout Paradise but with planes. and everything.
Actually, I think it looks like you trying to you trying to navigate through different modes of transportation to get to the finish point, whether it be car, whether it be parachuting, whether it be
Amazing Race.
Better be able to ride a horse.
Which is, if it's anything like Burnout Paradise, I want it.
With planes.
All right, so let's talk about Drive Club. I know how you guys don't want to talk about Drive Club, unfortunately, but
I don't know anything about it.
yeah. Well, I mean, we're starting to see.
I think Sorry.
What I'm kind of alluding to is like we're kind of seeing more and more of these server-related issues on launches, right? I
Yep.
mean, like, sure, you can get Drive Club for single player. That's great, but I mean, Drive Club, as far as I remember, was like a really, really elaborate social experience for
Right.
so I don't even know what that functionality is like. If the servers are down to not even support like the free stuff, I don't think it's able to even do like the basic multiplayer stuff. Unless
I don't. Are the servers actually down, or is this just we don't think that we can handle PlayStation Plus right now, so we're gonna hold off?
we are dedicated.
Because I thought it was literally just we just don't want to release it yet because we don't really know what's gonna
I
happen.
haven't heard anything about like the actual game, like the disc.
Yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, I saw this news and everyone's just like, "Oh yeah, Drive Club is a failure," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'll take your word for it. Sure."
No, it's not a failure. It just,
He's had a rough story. Like it meant to be like this, like exclusive that you would get for free on day one, but it was in trouble since.
Oh,
It's been in trouble for a while.
So this is an official statement from the Drive Club Facebook page.
Yep.
To our PlayStation Plus fans, we're sorry you're having to wait longer to play, but we want to ensure that when you come on board, you get the best experience possible. Rest assured, if you've pre-ordered the full game upgrade from the PS Plus edition, you will still get to play the full version of the Digital Club digitally, or Drive Club digitally. If you can't get online, and you'll be able to get started offline like everybody else with single player mode. So it looks like it doesn't look like multiplayer works. Maybe by the odd chance you might be able to. Maybe some servers are up, but I think most players are affected by this. For those,
Those 6 players are not. They can't play together.
All right, guys, who has more fans, us or Drive Club? It's on. Let's go to their Facebook page.
You're actually gonna do it.
So
Yeah,
they have at least 33,000 guys.
No, we got work to do.
It was
Oh,
such
wow.
we were so close.
Seriously.
We were so close. But anyways,
Yeah, like server issue is. It is an interesting beast to tackle. Like it seems like no matter how much people prepare for it, like they're always side-blinded. Like SimCity is a perfect example where they're like, no, like we've tested it, like we're pretty like we'll be rock solid when it goes, and nothing works. Or even
Diablo.
I was just about to say Diablo had so many stress tests, and I was like, okay, this game is gonna be fantastic on launch, and it's just like, nope, joke.
Yeah, it's server management sucks. It sucks a lot. It is so hard to predict everything. Because what do you do? Like, because the problem about all this stuff too is that, for example, with Diablo 3, you're going to get probably like double, maybe even triple the amount of players that are actually going to consistently play your game on day one. Right? Like, everybody's going to flood it for the first month, and then everybody's going to stop playing, and you're going to get your core group of people. So realistically, you only need as many servers for your core group of people, maybe plus 10% or something for people that just kind of randomly jump on. Right? So you have this issue of, well, do we spend all this money on a crazy amount of servers that are never going to get used? Or do we, try and cut back a little bit and maybe rent out some Amazon servers or something, right?
Or like Microsoft Azure servers or whatever. Those.
It's such a hard question, right? And there's no real great answer for it, right? Because it's just, what do you do? Like, there's no. It's still something that people are obviously running into issues with today.
I think developers should try to find out what Activision did, because Destiny ran, as far as I'm aware,
That's also because Activision and Bungie just have a shit ton of servers, right? Like Bungie has been dealing with this kind of server management for a
Oh
long,
yeah,
long
Halo
time.
Yeah,
2.
I haven't heard of a Halo or Call of Duty where they're like multiplayer doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just
Unlocks.
have the resources, right? I mean,
Yeah.
technically, I guess Blizzard should have the resources due to World of Warcraft.
Technically, EA should. They should be swimming in
Mhm.
cash.
Huh.
But I think
I
it's
don't think
just they underestimated what the first day flood would be.
Like even FIFA 15, like they're preparing for like the release of FIFA 15. FIFA 14 servers got affected. They were using like the same servers. Like I was playing like Ultimate Team, and then some of my matches didn't save over, or like some of the things I did didn't save over because there was some sort of FIFA 15 like server maintenance. I'm like, what? So like there's definitely a good case that like developers aren't just estimating their servers well enough. And I think Destiny is so far the first success story we've heard from them in a while.
I wouldn't necessarily say that Destiny was like they went down a little bit, but it was mostly for updates and stuff like that.
And DDoS, I think.
And also, sorry.
I think also DDoS.
Yeah, they also got hit by that, but I mean that's just something completely different, right? Like that, there's no way you can.
Well,
Get ready
there is,
for
but
that.
it's also like it's hard.
Well, it's also like if somebody decides to DDoS attack you, you're gonna like they're gonna find a way and you're gonna get hit, right?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Anyways,
I'm actually just surprised that Driveclub's having so many issues, just because they kind of like when PlayStation 4 was originally announced in that February pre-E3 event. Driveclub was one of the games that they kind of presented. So I'm just kind of shocked as like because they were trying to introduce it as like a first party game. They're saying like, oh, it's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be unlike anything you've ever played and stuff. And it's having such a rocky like delays after delays, and then
Yeah.
now this.
Well,
so-
like I said that earlier, where like it was supposed to be the premiere. Like, if you get PlayStation Plus, this is like a full game that you get on day one. Like, boom. This was supposed to be like their. I think even more than Knack or Killzone, this was supposed to be like their thing that sort of gets people to come and get PlayStation Plus, get PlayStation 4, and then it just
this was
Yeah.
supposed to be the killer app. This was so to
Yeah.
sell systems.
yeah.
And I guess that's why they're mostly sorry, because it's kind of like saying like, oh, you didn't really. It's not really a free, like Emil mentioned before the podcast. It's not really a free Drive Club. It's more so one that comes along your PlayStation Plus. It's just a
Yeah.
perk.
Paying for it anyway.
So I guess in that sense, that's why they're so sorry, because it's like they originally advertised it as like such a big deal. I fear for the future of this developer.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like, I don't even know who it is. This is how little I know about this game. Like, this is how little anybody knows about this game.
Yeah. The marketing team must not exist for this game. Like
Evolution Studios.
Oh, it's Evolution? That is surprising.
Yeah. What else have they made?
They have a wide pedigree.
Motorsport.
Excuse me.
Motorstorm.
Oh, Motorstorm. Yeah. Fuck.
there's a Motorstorm.
Okay.
guys.
Motorstorm's fantastic. Why did I not know? I've definitely been told this, but Motorstorm is a very, very good racing game.
I don't
Kinda
remember it.
It's
Yeah.
PS. There's a Sony racing
Oh, okay.
series. It was just like balls to
good.
the wall crazy and awesome.
So
My,
in that case, I'm really surprised that it's doing so poorly.
Yeah. Oh well, I'm very interested. I hope we get to sort of hear what happens like in a few years, like in some sort of documentary or something,
Yeah.
some news article. Like I think because something happened really badly
Yeah.
to sort of drag them down. And, it is unfortunate.
Right.
Like we're making jokes at their expense, but it is kind of unfortunate that these guys are in a lot of trouble now. I think.
Yeah. It'd be a shame, and I'm wishing everybody at Evolution the best.
So, good luck
Evolution
to
or
these guys.
Revolution?
Evolution.
My
Evolution.
apologies. I blame my ignorance of the Sony brand and all the games associated with it. I never grew up with Sony, so I feel like I'm treading an unstable territory every time I say anything regarding Sony, which is why I'm glad I have Andrew and Evan, because I'm pretty sure you guys grew up mostly with Sony, or well, Evan has everything. Evan plays everything.
Evan's just Evan.
Evan's just Evan. All right. So moving on to our final topic. This is actually kind of interesting. Basically, The Verge is reporting on Intel, who apparently caved on anti-feminist campaigns. So what happened was, I'm just kind of reading this article. There was some sort of coordinated campaign in relation to the hashtag Gamersgate called Operation Disrespectful Nod. And what they would do is they would go on game-focused websites such as Game Sutra and Kotaku.
Game
Anyways, however, I've also used Kotaku. Basically, these people will be filing complaints to the sponsors that are on those articles. So Intel was doing some advertisement for Gamma Sutra. Yeah, Gamma Sutra, on an article regarding how the definition of a gamer has kind of changed over the time. Like the niche idea of gaming has changed so much that the identities changed. It was a very radically opinionally written article, and a lot of people didn't like that. So what they ended up doing is a lot of them started sending complaints to Intel saying, "Intel, why are you advocating for this?" Because their ads are on there, and as a result, Intel decided to pull their advertising campaign in response to those complaints.
Yeah.
Wow. And again, like to a certain degree, like I'm assuming Kotaku is being targeted as well, because Kotaku's written a lot of articles regarding Gamersgate, and I'm assuming they're probably jumping on board with Andrew, what's her name?
Anita or Zoe?
Anita.
Yeah, Anita.
Sarkeesian, Zoe Quinn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Both of them, really.
Yeah.
Justin, I just want to clarify something. You keep saying Gamersgate. Gamersgate is a game-selling website. What you're talking about is Gamergate. It's a hashtag that they're all using.
What?
It's like Bendgate and all the other bullshit gates that whenever there's something.
Oh, sorry, I thought it said gamers. Sorry, I read that wrong.
Yeah. Whenever there's something controversial on Twitter, it's not got a gate next to it.
Oh.
Just to clarify.
Seriously, can they not get creative?
Nope. When the iPhone 6 crap came out, it was the Bendgate.
Because the original one was back in the 80s and 90s called Watergate, right?
Okay, Watergate.
Yeah, that was the original one. Yeah.
They literally have nothing. No, it's ridiculous. Anyways,
But that's not what I wanted to talk about.
We're not here to talk about Watergate. We're not a political podcast. All right.
Well, like it kind of gets involved into like politics in a sense. Like,
Okay. Yeah. Well.
Of,
yes.
Like game. To be honest, when I like all this stuff about like people who are against like the social justice warriors or whatever, like it. To be honest, like it really it doesn't even like make me angry. Like makes me like really sad and it's almost sick to my stomach. Like hearing things about this, like it kind of makes me not want to play video games anymore. Like that's how much it sort of makes me feel ill. Like I don't understand why people sort of like people are saying a view and it's different from your view, and it makes you so angry that you go out to like cut their livelihood out. Like Intel has to be a huge sponsor for this website, and just people they're just trying to make money and do something that they love, writing about a hobby, a thing that they love. Like why can't like it doesn't.
I don't know if anything is to be blamed regarding Intel. Like
well,
I think it does. I think it does. Like I sent like I know for a fact that the next time I upgrade my processor, I won't be going to an i7. I'll be shopping at like AMD, even though personally I like the i7s better. But I'm like this. Like I need to vote with my wallet. This is something that's important to me. Like I don't know.
I don't know.
I understand financial pressures, but
yeah.
At a certain point, you have to make a stand, especially for something that is so trivial.
Yeah.
In a way.
I think this is the case of like Intel not thinking necessarily the social implications, but more so them just saying, we're getting a lot of complaints rather than
Yep.
causing a fuss about it and causing one crowd to be angry, we'll just pull it. I think that was the case. But at the same time, like I do agree with you, Andrew, that there is a certain degree of like, where does Intel necessarily stand on this? That their brand associated with, certain gaming focused websites, to a certain extent, like when you're sponsoring, you have to be aware of what kind of brand you are sponsoring. Whether it be, like a gay rights activist, for instance, if you're gonna be sponsoring, if you're gonna be giving like your brand associated with a gay rights activist, there's a part of your brand yourself that is supporting gay rights. That's an inevitable fact. So the fact that
Pretty
like
much.
Intel kind of like pulled themselves out of it, it's like they didn't even do any research with regards to what that website has been up to and what kind of standards, because I expect sponsors, like if they're gonna say like, hey, this is the kind of stuff we want to uphold, but rather they're just like, here, just gives money and then like stuff like that, and it's like they didn't even notice this how gonna happen. This is what I found was kind of interesting.
The thing I find weird as well is that Intel's actually sponsoring these people, because Intel doesn't really deal with games at all for the most part.
That's
I mean,
hardware.
Intel's integrated chipset is bullshit, right? So I don't. It surprises me that Intel has funding in this area.
Well, it's not funding. It's like
CPUs and
they
SSDs.
have advertising.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Right?
I mean, they did have 1 year. I think it was Rome Total War for free associated with like whatever i5, i7 you got.
Cool.
Yeah, and that was kind of like the first push for gaming, and it was, well, not their first, but that was one of the more recent ones. I don't want to say first because I don't know.
Yeah, like I'm it's just kind of the way that I'm interpreting this, it almost feels like Westboro Baptist Church,
Oh God.
in the sense that like they're really kind of pushing their, it's like Gamergate was kind of, I don't even know anymore, that like it's, let's just say it's just like they think they're doing something right, but in reality it's just them pushing their views upon other people.
Yeah,
When
basically.
yeah, so I don't know, it's just, it was interesting to hear about this. I was kind of reading about it before. I wasn't too understanding of it, and then all of a sudden I read it a bit more, because at first I thought Intel pulled sponsorship on articles that were like anti-feminist. I'm like, okay, yeah, that okay, sure, that kind of makes sense. But like, but it was more so they caved under the anti-feminists
Yeah.
and pulled their articles from things that like they're talking about gender equality, and like I'm just okay, like this that.
Yeah,
that,
and I would love to see the emails they got, because it's not like they were like, oh, like we advocate. I feel like a lot of these groups aren't even like, we advocate like equality and we feel like this is pushing against like us. It's like, no, we hate women. We're anti-feminists. Like these are like violent
What?
and groups that are like they're violent on the internet. They're terrible people. And
Oh,
like, it
okay. I know
just
what you're talking
doesn't.
about. Yeah, I get what you're talking about now.
It doesn't make sense to
It'd
me.
be funny if Intel was this was old money talking, where the big boss was like, "Nope, I don't agree with this." That'd be a full
Yeah.
negative theory behind it. It's like, "Nope, I disagree with this. This is how a gamer should be represented. Fuck them. Pull the money."
Yeah, I don't.
So they didn't actually cave, but it was an active decision. What if?
I do doubt that.
No, I know. It's just based on what Andrew was saying. I just found it a little humorous.
Yeah.
I don't know, Evan, Amel, what's your 2 cents on this? Like, how do you guys feel about all this?
Kind of mimic what Andrew feels. Not that I wouldn't be buying Intel products. The way AMD's going, Intel will be all that's left. But that being said, like I'm not so much voting with my wallet because of that. But I pretty much agree with Andrew. Like what you're saying is, yeah, that's the public face of the company. It's what shows. If someone reads the news, whatever, gamer news tomorrow, and they see, oh, Intel is anti-equality, and they just read the headline, but like, wait, what? That's a negative connotation that they don't need associated with them if they looked a little bit more, unless they are just being closed-minded, which I don't know.
I don't think they're anti-equality. I don't think that the people at Intel are bad. I think that they just made a bad decision.
Yeah. That's most likely it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm just reading about
So that's basically my thoughts.
Yeah, and I completely agree as well. I mean, it sucks. It happened. Yeah, I don't know. It's not fun when situations like this happen.
Yeah, because
Yeah, like
look at Intel has been more or less pretty neutral on any kind of. I mean, like most video game companies or like in computer hardware, anything in technology related usually has been pretty neutral. Well, okay, BioWare is different. BioWare is pretty like they're very pro like equal rights and with all their like gay lesbian romances going on. So they have their stances are pretty clear. Um, Other companies not so much, and it was interesting to see like Intel kind of doing this, and it's just I don't necessarily know if it's them announcing their beliefs or if it was just them
yeah,
reading complaints and then just saying
Yeah.
okay, yeah, we're just gonna pull it off. But like yeah, I still think Intel there's a bit of fault at Intel. There's just not knowing better or reading the complaints a bit more and having like a
Yeah.
moral judgment to kind of say this and that.
yeah, I think you're right, Justin. I agree with that.
Yeah. What was the Gamergate hashtag originally used for?
Same thing. Social justice
You're
warrior
saying.
stuff in gaming.
Yeah, yeah, it's like people, journalists and social justice warriors are ruining games because of XYZ said, and it's a relatively new thing.
Yeah, it's so hard to follow because I wasn't sure if the Zoe girl that was the one that slept with the journalist or whatever. I don't know if that was against or for Zoe.
Against.
It was against her. Okay. Okay. That.
Yeah, it's
okay.
kind of a complicated story.
Yeah.
I'm still not even too sure on what's happening.
Whatever happened to just playing video games?
I know, right?
Like
you get on the playground and you tell lies to your friends.
I would rather sit through Andrew and Evan talking shit about Assassin's Creed than have to deal with any more of this kind of crap. Like it's getting to a point that okay, like sure, if you don't like seeing lesbian or gay romances in your video games, just don't buy the game. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Don't choose that option. Like in the case of Mass Effect, for example, just don't do it.
Or just don't.
Play it
Don't.
normally.
Hey, I like it's like. Just don't pick it. Like it's a game. It's a game about choice. It's not a game about like you have to.
Yeah.
And like
Guys, it's the way things are going. There's no way to escape it.
yeah.
I would go as far as to say go back to whatever primitive hellhole you came from.
Yeah.
Might be a bit too strong for this podcast, but whatever. We're casual.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel really bad for like Gamma Sutra and Kotaku because they probably lost a lot
I
of
agree.
money.
No, I agree.
Yeah. Rough world we live in.
What are you gonna do?
Complain.
All we can do is just keep making good games. Maybe Unity will be good, right, guys? Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That cloak-
Hey,
that
hey,
cloak-
I hope every game is good, but that doesn't mean I can't make fun of them.
True enough. True enough. That's a good way of putting it.
Oh man, we Andrew and I just had so much fun praising Last of Us while you were gone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Dominic.
Yeah, and Dominic was there too.
I like him.
Yeah, we were just like monopolizing. They were. I'm neutral because I've never played Last of Us, but they've just been monopolizing on praising Last of Us since you've been gone.
It's fair.
Yeah. Whatever.
Anyways,
All right. So, anyways, that concludes this episode's podcast. A mix of trash talking and more trash talking, and then being depressed about people trash talking.
Yep.
That is a summary of today's podcast.
Basically.
Yeah.
That summarizes it really well, actually. I like it.
Yeah. So thank you for watching this far. If you just like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. If there are anything interesting topics regarding, I don't know, something you found interesting, Maybe there's something controversial we've said and you don't like it. Tweet at us and let us know. We'll talk about it.
I was gonna say we're casual. We can say whatever we want.
Maybe we'll end up on the hashtag of Gamergate for being something.
Oh jeez.
Oh jeez.
Oh god.
jeez.
Hey, any publicity is good publicity.
I don't know about that.
No, really.
Well, actually, that's a good point. Think about Drive Club, for instance.
Yeah, they need more.
They have absolutely no publicity. All right, so that'll be it from us. I don't think we have any new content for a while. We might be getting some reviews. Where is it? I recently got something in the mail.
No, you did not.
Nah.
Oh, Andrew, are you actually looking for the game?
I haven't started. I'm broke right now. Like I don't.
Alright, fair enough. Because I bought it and I hate it with a passion of 1,000 tons and want to return it. So
Wait, what game?
Hate it.
Very happy.
yeah, I absolutely hate that game. Anyways, but yeah, so we can.
What game?
If you want it, I'm willing to sell it.
What
'Cause
game?
I hate it.
I think he's talking about Smash.
I am. Smash 4. Piece of poop.
We'll chat more about it later.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Oh
probably don't
man,
want to
there's always gonna be trash talking on this podcast.
You're gonna get so much flack for it.
We should start a hashtag EvanGate.
Yeah.
Evan Gay.
Where we
Rip
fight
on
Evan
against.
everything.
Evan has the most controversial
Just
opinions
rip on everything
regarding.
and then gush about Shadows of Mordor.
Huh.
All right. Well, anyways, this is our post podcast blabber. We'll continue this elsewhere. Good night for now,
And we'll talk to you next time.
or good morning, or whatever language you're speaking, and whatever time zone you're in.
If they're not speaking English, why are they listening to this?
They want to
They
learn
like his
English.
things.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
they're
then they
watch-
go to a video gaming podcast.
Maybe they want to learn the
These
culture. in
people
English.
have other problems. If they're going to a very
Hey!
obscure
Don't
video
scare
gaming
off the
podcast.
unicorns, man. Don't
okay.
scare off the unicorns.
Okay. It's okay.
That's not a unicorn. That's like a brain dead unicorn that's been run over by too many trucks. Like,
All right. Let
All right.
him go.
Bye bye.